This is the all-new BMW 3 Series, which is now on its 7th generation. The 3 Series has always set the benchmark in the compact luxury car segment, but is that still the case nowadays? Pero bago natin simulan ang review na ito, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell para lagi kayong notified whenever we review a silver luxury car. The 3 Series has always been the icon of the BMW brand. At dahil dyan, this car has always been in a unique position. For instance, Mercedes-Benz is known for the S-Class flagship sedan, and Audi is known for the R8 supercar along with their sporty S and RS vehicles. On the other hand, people don't buy a 3 Series kasi ito lang ang afford nila sa BMW. Instead, people buy a 3 Series because this is what defines the BMW brand. And this is what sets this car apart from the Audi A4 and Mercedes-Benz C-Class. So it's no surprise that the BMW 3 Series looks distinct and iconic on the road. Yes, medyo kamukha pa rin niya ang previous generation F30, but that actually works in this car's favor. Because the moment you see this car on the road, alam mong ito yung BMW 3 Series. With its sporty front end, its distinctive side profile with its Hofmeister kink, along with its sporty rear end with BMW's distinct L-shaped LED taillights. Speaking of that rear end, meron siyang kamukhang subcompact commuter car, especially because of its taillights. Kaya nang bahalang mag-imagine kung anong subcompact sedan ito. Ngayon naman, dumako tayo sa loob ng BMW 3 Series. So now that we're inside the BMW 3 Series, and I've gotta say, every time I review a BMW, sobrang ina-enjoy ko yung interior quality niya. So, in terms of the aesthetics, it may not be as flashy as the Mercedes-Benz C-Class or as techy as the Audi A4, but for me, in terms of quality, the build quality, the one that BMW makes is superior. I prefer the doors pa lang. I prefer how amazing the sound of the door fab ng mga BMWs are compared to Mercedes-Benz, and comparable levels sa Audi A4, but the interior just feels so robust, so well screwed together. The soft touch materials extend all the way down sa baba ng pintuan. This car is the best for me in the compact luxury sports sedan segment in terms of quality. This is the best. Yun nga lang, I'm not a fan of the piano black plastic stuff sa kanyang interior trims, especially here in the center console area where your hands will always be kapag nag-operate ka ng iDrive or nung gear selector. But other than that, quality-wise, I prefer the BMW 3 Series over all of its competitors. And that includes the Lexus IS, which, to be honest, medyo outdated na interior na since it's not an all-new car, let's be honest. So as for interior gimmicks, this is of course a luxury car, so expect a few interior gimmicks. But they're worthy gimmicks. They really enlighten, they enhance the luxury experience. So we have the BMW light carpet, which is BMW's spotted lamp thing. So there's like this cool modern looking lines that extend all the way back to the rear of the 3 Series to illuminate your path to the car. Looks really good at night. And then you also have interior ambient lighting, which is configurable, and even sa umaga, even in daylight, ma-appreciate mo siya kasi the ambient lights are really bright. The door ambient lighting, by the way, when you open the doors, they flash in red and blink as a warning to you that the door is open, and to other road users when the door is all the way out, pag binuksan mo, so that they'll be warned. It's both a safety and an aesthetic feature actually. Then that of course then leads me to the BMW iDrive infotainment system, which is one of my favorite infotainment systems in the industry. Personally, I think BMW's iDrive infotainment system is the best in the industry. The menus are logically laid out, plus lagi kong sinasabi ito sa mga reviews ko. I will always prefer using rotary knobs over touchscreens, though iDrive also supports touch inputs. In the case of this 318i Sport line though, this car is fitted with BMW iDrive 6, and not the iDrive 7 Professional. And because of this, Apple CarPlay is an optional extra, while Android Auto is not supported at all. Oh, and yung gauges niya by the way aren't digital. Mukha lang siyang digital, but this isn't the Live Cockpit Professional digital gauge cluster, which comes with the optional iDrive 7 Professional. Still, the analog gauges look good and well presented nonetheless. As for rear seat space, the BMW 3 Series offers a lot, and is almost on par with the Audi A4. Like every new car nowadays, the 3 Series has grown incrementally over the years, and this car is now 4.7 meters long, which makes it almost as big as the E39 5 Series. Yun nga lang, being rear-wheel drive, the middle seat is best left for a small person, since the transmission tunnel reduces legroom, and also raises the center seat that also limits headroom. As for rear seat amenities, meron kang rear seat climate controls, along with 2 USB-C ports. Wala ka nga lang rear center armrest, which is a shame in a car like this. The BMW 318i Sportline also comes with a powered trunk as standard, and inside the trunk is 480 liters of space, which is on par with other rear-wheel drive luxury compact sedans. Yun nga lang, the rear seats don't fold down, which may not be to everyone's liking. For now, only one variant of the 3 Series is available, and that's a 318i Sportline, which is powered by a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged gasoline engine. In traditional BMW fashion, power is sent to the rear wheels via a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission.
However, don't let those engine figures fool you because BMW has been historically known to understate its horsepower and torque figures. And yes, this 318i, it's not a 1.8 liter as what the 1.8 would normally denote, unlike in the past. But the 1.8 now means that this 3 Series actually has a 2-liter turbocharged gasoline engine. So it's basically a detuned version of the same 2-liter turbo engine that's found in the 330i and of course the 320i. And it's actually a good engine. I actually love this engine. So in terms of outright performance, in terms of the straight line performance, 0 to 100 kph happens in 8.4 seconds as based on the manufacturer's claim. But again, expect that to be a bit faster than what BMW states kasi yun nga, they have a history of understating their numbers, being conservative. So that basically also reflects in the real world. So this engine produces 250 Newton meters of torque from the low to mid RPM ranges, and that's a good thing for overtaking, you know. So with other engines, with all the torque down low, pagdating mo sa mid to high RPM ranges, kapos ka na sa torque. So parang it's best to leave the engine at its sweet spot sa lower RPM ranges in those kinds of engines. But with the 3 Series, it actually feels perfectly adequate for Philippine roads. And even if you're in provincial roads where you're gonna need to overtake minsan pa nga a truck or a bus, this engine's perfectly adequate for that. It does the job really well, and it really will deliver all that power and all that torque when you need it. And then, as with turbo engines, I always mention turbo lag. Lagi ako nagbabagay ng turbo lag kasi it's not, medyo nakakairita ang turbo lag, let's be honest, sa mga engines na sa mga small displacement turbo engines. But with the 320i, that's actually minimal, and the good thing about it is sa engine na to, yung kanyang turbo lag is so minimal, and since all the torque happens in the low to mid RPM ranges nga, the engine feels a lot like a naturally aspirated engine. So torque is delivered linearly, hindi siya parang on-off switch like in other small displacement turbo engines. This feels like a naturally aspirated engine that it just so happens has a lot of torque. And of course, being a BMW na rear-wheel drive, this means it uses a ZF, manufactured by ZF na 8-speed automatic transmission. And whenever I review a BMW, like akong binabagit na this is the best transmission in the industry. And that basically still applies here in the 3 Series. The gearbox is responsive, it downshifts to the gear you want. I really do wish it had paddle shifters kasi the transmission is fast and it's smooth. Sayang lang, I wish it had paddle shifters because the transmission is really that good. Yeah, the 318i Sportline doesn't have paddle shifters in this spec, so sayang. But yun nga, if it had paddle shifters, I would really enjoy this car even more. But nevertheless, transmissions and paddle shifters aside, this ZF 8-speed is really good, and it's really my favorite transmission in the industry. It's very smooth, it's very responsive, and of course, being a BMW, this car is really fun to drive. This car is really sporty. Being rear-wheel drive with the perfect 50-50 weight distribution, or an almost perfect at least 50-50 weight distribution, it's really fun to drive. It rotates to the corners when it basically adjusts the way it turns with how you deal with the throttle. It's a really fun sport sedan to drive. I'm really enjoying this car so much. Steering's telepathically quick. There's not a lot of feedback, but may feedback pa rin, but not a lot. But yun nga, it's telepathically quick. It's really responsive, especially in sport mode. When you put it in sport mode, mas bibigat yung steering, and it's super sharp. It's almost hyperactive, to be honest, na if you're going down a straight line, kahit onting galaw mo lang, it will change its direction. So if you're in a highway, it's best to leave this car in comfort mode para yung steering niya is on the stable side of things, para kapag yung gusto mo ng straight line stability, andun siya. But at the same time, put it in sport mode, grabe. This steering is hyperactive, it's super responsive. And the suspension deals with the body roll really well, as in this car corners flat. It feels like this car is on rails. It doesn't twitch, doesn't even feel nervous at all. It's really very grippy. It claws onto the road really well. And the chassis solidity, this car uses the BMW cluster architecture platform, which is shared with the 5 and the 7 series. And in the 3 series, grabe. The platform is rock solid. It's really refined. And apart from delivering excellent handling with this car platform, yun nga, it's also refined. As a matter of fact, 100 kph here feels more like 60. And coming from my Mazda 6 wagon, which is by our standards actually already a refined car, but going here to the 3 series, biglang it's a completely different world. And sobrang tahimik niya. Oftentimes, coming from the Mazda 6 nga, it feels disconcertingly quiet. But you couldn't ask for more. This car is really refined, really quiet. If you want something that's even more quiet, just go to a Rolls Royce, for crying out loud. It's really that refined. On the downside, yung suspension niya, since it's catered more towards sportiness, it's not firm, hindi naman matagtag yung ride niya, but may onting pagkatagtag siya. So if you want something that's more comfortable, an Audi A4 would be a better bet, or a Mercedes-Benz C-Class would be a better bet. But if you want something that's sporty, agile, and fun to drive, this is it. The 3 Series is still the benchmark. Not even the Lexus IS actually. This car's platform is far superior compared to the one in the Lexus IS, which is at this point quite dated already. And then we also have to mention the brakes. Not a lot of people mention the brakes in a car, but the one in the BMW, though it's hard to modulate kapag you're crawling to a stop, yung coming to a stop ka na, but if you're mashing it sa bawat paliko sa mga winding roads, the brakes are really good. The pedal feels really firm. It's confidence-inspiring. There's really a lot of stopping power with the car's brakes. And fuel economy is excellent. BMW engines are known to be really fuel efficient. If you've seen my Toyota GR Supra review, you'll notice that my fuel economy with that sports car was actually even better than a Mazda CX-9. Okay, fine, the CX-9 is a large SUV, a mid-size SUV, but you know, a sports car with 300 horsepower is no joke still in terms of what it's capable of. So imagine my fuel economy with a 318i. If dun pa lang sa Toyota Supra, my fuel economy was quite good. So yes, I've been averaging around 12.5 kilometers per liter with this car, with the 318i. I live in Santa Rosa, Laguna. Lagi kong sasabi sa mga video ko yan. I live in Santa Rosa, Laguna. So I tend to post higher fuel economy figures compared to the other media. But compared to other, not necessarily cars in this class, but rather cars with more or less the same horsepower figure as this car. Like for example, Honda Civic RS Turbo. This car is still more fuel efficient than that car.
As mentioned, only one variant of the 3 Series is available for now, which is this 318i Sportline that starts at a little under 3 million pesos, at least with current promos in place. This makes a BMW 3 Series one of the best value in the compact luxury sedan segment. Apart from the already aforementioned features in this review, the 318i Sportline also gets swiveling LED headlights, along with a trio of driver assist features. And this includes the BMW Parking Assistant, which is basically a self-parking feature, rear automatic emergency braking, and an innovative reversing assistant, which basically remembers the last 50 meters you drove, and then the system replays your steering inputs as you reverse out of a sticky situation. Sobrang useful siya kapag na-stuck ka sa isang dead end. And then for even more performance, there's also the BMW M3 competition. assuming you have more than 9 million pesos of spare change in your house. The BMW 3 Series has always been the benchmark of the compact luxury sedan segment, and that's still the situation sa mga panahong ito. And at under 3 million pesos, you actually get a lot of car for your money, and at a package that offers one of the best driving experiences in the class. Naaalala nyo nga ba yung aking Kia Stinger GT review noon? Kasi sa totoo lang, medyo binabawi ko na yung sinabi ko noon. If you have the money for a Kia Stinger GT, just head to the nearest BMW dealer and buy the 3 Series instead.